Welcome to 3D Jake, the only channel that is 3 dimensions away from Looney Tunes back in action being called Looney Tunes the movie. I'm your host 3D Jake, and today we are looking at Looney Tunes Back in Action, released in 2003. Looney Tunes Back in Action is directed by Joe Dante and is written by Larry Doyle, based on the character of Looney Tunes. The movie stars Brendan Fraser, Jenna Elfman, Timothy Dalton, Joan Cusack, Heather Locklear, and Steve Martin. The movie is essentially about a guy who wants to be an actor who is a security guard, played by Brendan Fraser, and he really wants to be a big movie star like his dad, who is played by Timothy Dalton. And so, of course, at the studio, Daffy Duck is having a bad run, and of course, Warner Brothers fires him, and then, of course, when Brendan Fraser has to escort him off the property, and then Daffy Duck gets him fired. And then, of course, after hijinks and stuff ensues, him and Daffy Duck go on a road trip together to find this blue monkey, while Bugs Bunny and this other executive who fired Daffy Duck are in pursuit to get Daffy Duck back to go work on Warner Brothers movies. When I heard about this movie, I was really excited because I love Space Jam. The first Space Jam is my favorite Looney Tunes movie. So when I heard that they were going to make a Looney Tunes movie, I'm like, oh, they're making a sequel? It's really more of a spinoff. And I'm like, oh, wow, this is so cool. I can't wait. So I was so excited. And I remember this was the most rented movie at my local video store at the time. Like every time we'd go, they're like, oh, it's rented, it's rented, it's rented. And I'm like, oh man, like every single time. And I went to 4 different video stores because the trailers for it just were so amazing. I begged my parents. I'm like, please let me go and watch this movie. Like it was in theaters and it come and went, and it was at a local video store, and I was like every time. And I didn't get the chance to see the movie until it literally hit cable, ABC Family and TBS. That's when I got a chance to watch it. And I thought it was okay when I watched it the first time. I think when I saw it, like I appreciate it more now than when I saw it. I was not that impressed with it. But then as an adult, I really more appreciate this movie now. And I think, honestly, this movie is actually a well-made movie. Like, it is a homage love letter to the Hanna-Barbera Warner Brothers Looney Tunes cartoons that came before us. And I do like that, you know, the cartoon characters are the focus, while also you have the human characters. And I think the human characters actually elevate the cartoon characters even more. I do like Brendan Fraser's movie, how he wants to be a big movie star, and how Daffy Duck, you got the dynamic duo that are like, they're trying to one-up each other. And there is a lot of love letter. Like, I think this movie did a lot of things better than Space Jam New Legacy, where that felt like a cameo fest of Warner Brothers IP, while this movie feels like it actually has a story. And you have, obviously, the Easter eggs and nods to other Warner Brothers IP and different space stuff, like, of course, like 2001: A Space Odyssey, or you have, like, of course, cameo from Invasion of the Body Snatchers, and then you have a thing of Darlak from Doctor Who, and different things like that, and different IPs that are in this movie. And then, of course, you have, like, Goldberg, who is, like, the henchman to Steve Martin. And Steve Martin is an over-the-top villain. Like, he works for the Acme Corporation. His job is he wants to get the blue monkey, and he kidnaps Brendan Fraser's dad, and who turns out to be a real spy, which is a nod because Timothy Dalton played James Bond in 2 movies, The Living Daylight and License to Kill. So, of course, this character is like a spy in this universe, and then, of course, he kidnaps him and he's torturing him. And then so Brendan Fraser has to get the blue monkey to rescue his dad and everything. And I actually do like that aspect of this movie. And I think, honestly, the side gag, the adventures, is where it kind of loses me a little bit. Like, when they're like, what the mission is a good idea. But then they're in Vegas, and then you have all these cameos and stuff in Vegas, and it's like, oh, Heather Locklear, who was a secret agent who you never see again. And I'm like, why don't we never see her again? Like, shouldn't she be in the movie since she was his sidekick? And then we just see her for this one thing of like, oh, it's Heather Locklear. She used to be a spy. And then, okay, now we have Yosemite Sam chasing after them in a freaking Jeff Gordon's NASCAR, because apparently Jeff Gordon was going to make a Looney Tunes NASCAR movie with them called Race Jam. And that never happened. And then, of course, they're in, they're at Walmart. Because, product placement. And then they go to Walmart, and then I go to a secret Area 52 where Joan Cusack is the mother of Brendan Fraser, and she is literally used to be married to Timothy Dalton in this movie. But then you never see her again after that either. And I'm just like, it feels like we're just patting this down with, instead of like focusing on the main story, we're just patting it down with like different side characters and stuff. And it's like, all right, here's Heather Locklear, we'll never see her again. Here's Joan Cusack, we'll never see her again. And it's like, why? They go to they go to France, And at least France, there's not like no other big cameo name. Like there's a purpose in France. There's a purpose when they're in the jungle. There's no purpose when they're at like other than just get exposition when they're in like Area 52. They're only there to NASCAR to get. They're only there in Vegas to basically have a chase sequence and to get information. I mean, it just there's that's the issue I have with this movie. Like at the beginning of the movie, I was on board. I love the whole rabbit season, duck season, and Daffy Duck like getting fired and all that, and then him running around the Warner Bros. Studio and you see like the Batmobile getting destroyed and everything. That works and everything. And then of course him and his dad getting kidnapped, seeing his dad getting kidnapped, and then him and Daffy Duck. And there is some funny stuff in the movie. Like I love the scene where like, you know, there's a Scooby-Doo cameo where you have Matthew Lillard talking to Casey Kasem Shaggy, and he goes, "You made me look like a total," he said, "space cadet. If you mess with me in the sequel, I'm coming after you." And so, and then like, Scooby goes, "Yeah, I'll give you Scooby Sacks," you know, and everything. That worked. I love that cameo so much. But and of course, you have, and then of course, you have like, you know, and then there's a lot of like fun Easter egg cameos, but I honestly think that when it's focusing on the story, it works. And I think when it's focusing on the side adventures and everything, it almost feels like a video game where it's like you can't sit and focus on it because you get the side quest so much. And I'm like, honestly, and I understand Joel Jonte said he had a miserable time making this movie because when he was making the movie, there were so many like executives in the room like saying this, and this, and that's probably why there's so many side quests. Probably like an executive saying, "Hey, put Heather Locklear in the movie. Hey, make this happen and this. Put this. Oh, here we have to have Jeff Gordon and we have to have NASCAR because we're making a movie with him. Oh, hey, also put in this cameo from Invasion of the Body Snatchers." Also put in, you know, this cameo. Also put in these stuff in the space Area 52. Also put Walmart in there, you know, and just different things like that. And I feel like we don't really need all this stuff. And I mean, it could just be like that. Also, then like once we like, and then of course, it goes to, like from like the jungle to like they're going to like in the Acme Corporation, which when that happens, when they're in the Acme Corporation, that works. I'm like, this works, okay. But then like the henchman becomes a Tasmanian devil female, and then they get married. Like that to me, it feels like just so inconceivable. Like it just feels like very like unresolved, and I just feel like that just feels like a cheap gag that really didn't resolve itself at all, unresolved. And then of course Steve Martin becomes a dog at the end, gets turned into a little dog or like a monkey or whatever, and like he gets turned into a monkey, and then of course that to me just feels like, and then he's like in love with this like a secretary who keeps sexually harassing her, and then he tries to get with her at the end, but then of course she gets turned into a monkey and then he gets arrested, which I'm like, that to me, I mean, there should have been more of a climax buildup, and instead it feels like, okay, that's just a cheap gag for a monkey gag, and I'm like, okay. It's those are the things I didn't like in the movie, but I do think the characters are very strong in the movie. Like I think Brandon Fraser and Jenna Elfman are very strong, and I like their motivations in the movie. I do like some of the fun Easter eggs in the movie, but it feels like when it's not forced, like when it's just like, oh hey, there's a Walmart thing because you get it, Walmart's a sponsor of this movie, and when it's different things like that, when it's like, oh hey, there's Jeff Gordon because you get it, we're doing a movie with him, you know, stuff like that is where I have an issue with and everything. But you know, like I do like there is some fun cameos whenever like they're putting. Like when they're in the jungle, and then of course he unzips, and it's like Steve Martin doing a gag of unzipping, like Granny to Steve Martin. Then he unzips, and it's like Michael Jordan from Space Jam 1. I thought that was funny, and so yeah, there's stuff like that. And then also I don't really like it as much. I kind of wish this would have been a movie within the movie instead of like doing it where it's a movie within a movie, within a movie type situation where it's like, oh, this whole movie, Looney Tunes Back in Action, wasn't real, and it's a movie, and so and then he literally just goes and punches Brandon Fraser in the face because he gets fired because he looks like Aaron Fraser. He's a stunt double, but then Brandon Fraser plays himself, who's a diva, and then he goes, yeah, you remember me? I got fired because he's like, I'm so, oh really? He was like, I fired a bunch of people. I thought that was funny, him punching himself in the face, but unfortunately, I just felt like if it would have been like, okay, they would have saved the Acme Corporation, and then later on, he's in Hollywood and everything, and he sees himself at a premiere and then punches himself in the face, that would have made it more resolved. I thought it would have been better, but instead it feels like, oh, cut, this was all a movie, this was real, and the stunt, no, then I'm like, it confused me. I was like, okay, this makes no sense then. It just feels like, but I'm like, it doesn't really make sense really because it's a fictional animated Looney Tunes movie, but still. I think 60% of this movie works, but then it's like the 40% of it that doesn't work, and I feel like that's my issue with this movie. If I had to give this movie a grade, I'm gonna give it a solid B minus. Thank you so much.